Hey, how you doing? Yeah, I think this is the first time I've done an interview with the headphones on.
It's better because you hear my voice.
Very soothing, too.
It's my deep, sultry. Hey, guys, what's up? Matt here. Welcome to the episode of Coffee is for Closers. We got Akbar Sheikh here today, a man in the coaching consulting industry. We're going to talk about coaching, consulting, what's right, what's wrong with the industry, maybe have a few rants, and just see what happens. So if you like that kind of content, like, subscribe, notification bell, all that kind of good stuff, and we'll see you after the intro.
If you listen to this podcast, you will make your first million within 3 years. We're here to make podcasts. You really want this. You listen and review.
What's up, bro?
Hey, man. Thanks for having me.
No, pleasure. Good to have you in Australia.
Yeah. My second home. My wife is married to me. I'm pausing because I think every time we come back, she wonders, why did she get married to me? Why do we live in America? She convinces me to try to move down here every single time we come.
Yeah, to Sydney?
Yeah.
It's a great place.
I love Sydney, honestly. I really do. But for me, it's like, home is where, like, my family's over there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My mom, my dad, my brother, just everyone. So it's just like, I just wouldn't be happy without them.
It's fair enough. Yeah, we moved around a fair bit.
Yeah.
And Sydney's the place that we always come back to. So we thought about moving to the States because obviously for my business, I'd make more money if I was over there, to be perfectly honest.
Well, it's interesting you say that, man, because I've found, with the exception of this trip for various reasons, but every time I come to Sydney, I find I get a bump in revenue.
Yeah, right. You're just happier.
I used to think it was like more fresh air and oxygen and the food's a little healthier because, like in America, most of the foods like that are outlawed in America, that are outlawed here, they're legal in America. Yeah. So it's like, it's healthier, more vitamin D and this and that. So I used to think that was it. But you know what I realized? I think, and that might be a part of it, but you know what I think it is? By the time it's like 10 a.m. here, like America shut down. Yeah. So it's like I'm not interrupted with like meetings and like people talking to me much. I can actually work more like on the business instead of in the business. Yeah. And I think that's what it might be.
So my day is like 7 a.m. to 12 is meetings.
Okay.
And then after that is content, like podcasts, YouTube videos, and then like the Australian stuff. So like our headquarters is mostly Australian. So a lot of the planning is done here. CEO of Sales Sniper is Will. He's over in the U.S., which is like it needs to be over there.
Yeah.
But like a lot of the headshed planning is here.
Yeah.
Which actually makes it easier for us because we don't, like you said, we don't get interrupted.
Yeah.
But in terms of like networking and getting clients, I mean, we have a pretty long list of people who want to work with us anyway. But like I could probably grow it more aggressively over there. But why? But what I want to ask you, we've been having a good chat on the couch. Why'd you get into coaching, man?
Why'd I get into coaching? Well, we got to take a little step back from that, I guess. I was, for so many years completely, let's take a bigger step back. Years ago.
So I was born.
Yeah. San Francisco.
I saw a bright light.
San Francisco, California. Yeah. A while ago, I was 50 pounds overweight, crippling anxiety disorder, addicted to anything you can think of. Had no why, didn't pray, wasn't spiritual, completely broke. What else was effed up about me? Anything you can think of. I mean, totally just an effed up person. That lifestyle.
Why?
Great question. I was conditioned my whole life by my dad, who's an entrepreneur. I come from 9 generations deep of entrepreneurs.
Okay.
My parents born in Africa. They conditioned me. You're going to be in business. You're going to be in business. You're going to be in business. My whole life.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I just went to my kids' kindergarten graduation. And it was so trippy because the teacher's like, hey, what do you guys want to be when you grow up? And one's like, I want to be a doctor, and I want to be a fireman and a policeman, all these normal shit, right? One, I want to be a dinosaur. When I was in first grade, same thing.
Yeah.
What do you want to be? And I go up there and say, I want to be a businessman. Everyone starts laughing at me because they never heard that before. But I was conditioned from like birth. You're in business. So I graduate college, and I go into the family business. And my dad was in retail. And it was like somebody slapped me in the face with a cold, wet fish. And I'm like, this sucks.
Okay.
I hate this.
Yeah.
I hated retail. I felt like
retail specifically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, to me, that was business, right? It's like the customer's always right, but these customers are maniacs. And then I felt like it was a self-man-made prison, this like box that you're in all the time. And I'm just like, dude, this is like my jail. Like, I hate this.
Okay.
And I'm like, shit. There was never any plan B. There was never any thought of like, what am I going to do with my life? It was always business from day one. So then I just like
all the build up to get there, and then it was like, this is it.
It wasn't. It was like, holy shit! I was like, now what do I just went down a spiral.
Okay.
That boom, just like downward, married the totally wrong person. Right.
It's always a good move.
I mean, to be honest, I was intoxicated when I proposed. I mean, that was the state I was in. I was in such a bad state. So, life was just a total mess. Ended up in the hospital half dead from partying too much, trying to numb the pain. And God saved me. I survived, as you can see. And immediately, man, I just went organic. I lost 50 pounds. I got rid of all my bad habits, cold turkey, got rid of all my bad friends, got rid of, became spiritual, started doing yoga, started praying, just totally redid myself, just totally did a holistic cleanse. I was a brand new person. So I'm happy, I'm healthy, I'm doing much better, still broke, have no why. So now I need to fix that part.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of Craigslist?
Yeah.
Okay. For those of you who don't know, Craigslist is like, it's like a job posting website, or it's a community website.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like whatever. Anyway. For some reason, I'm searching on Craigslist every day for my why.
Must have found some weird shit.
Yeah, I definitely
There's
did.
some weird people on Craigslist.
Yeah, I've almost been killed several times off of Craigslist experience. That's a true story. But one day, bump into this thing, and it's kind of funky that the red lights are here because it was a network marketing thing, and it was kind of my first exposure to it. I was like, oh, I know why there's this lady smiling with cash, and I know why it says like 200, but buy now and it'll be 100, and it was like the cheesiest network marketing shit out there. But I was like, I saw the psychology of it, and I felt like Neo from the Matrix. I'm just like, wow, this is so, like, it was so cheesy, but I'm like, this is so brilliant. So I went, what do broken, desperate people do? All due respect, they get into network marketing. Yeah. I went down that rabbit hole because I was so fascinated with the psychology. And even my dad told me, though, to be honest, interesting story, when I was a kid, and I would drive to my dad's different retail stores. Like, I must have been, I don't know, 10 years old, 10 years old. And my dad would say I'd make very interesting, deep psychological remarks about like the billboards that we'd drive by, like, marketing. So I was interested in marketing psychology, but I went down to network marketing, and I became a top 1% earner. But by the time I figured out what the industry was, I hated it. I'm like, this is not me. Like, this is so stupid.
What were you selling at the time?
They were digital products, and I go like, and I'm doing parentheses because it's just a bunch of digital. It was just a bunch of digital knowledge, I suppose. And the product, it was just a cheesy industry, bro. Because it was the premise of a lot of these things is like, oh, anybody can do it, and like your grandmother can do it. So like,
network marketing it's an interesting arena. I haven't dabbled in it myself, but I did help some people from a sales structure standpoint, sort of before I knew what it was, to be honest. When I got in there, I was like, oh, well, I've said yes now. But anyway, so I kind of redid the sales process. But it's a very interesting community of people. Yeah. But it really is like, it is the most pyramid-y thing I've ever seen. Like, you got some really smart entrepreneurs who are, in my opinion, taking advantage of an awful lot of people. Yeah. Because if you're a good business mind that's good at sales and marketing, and you have like a sort of semi-charismatic personality, you can be super successful in network marketing. But like, you've got to step on some people along the way.
The straw that broke the camel's back for me was when one senior citizen came up to me. He says, you know what this is? And he explained it to me because I was younger at the time. He said, you know what this is? I went into a room full of people, and there's some 25-year-old charismatic kid on stage, and a bunch of hopeless senior citizens who just like life went wrong for them, and they ended up with no money at the end of their lives. And that millennial dude promising you, everything's about to change. The internet, you're all going to make millions. And selling the dream. And meanwhile, these senior citizens can barely check their email. They just don't know how to do that. Yeah. And it's just like, so icky.
That is one of the things that shits me the most about, I guess, the sales industry in particular. But like, I hate when people say, come learn a skill, make $10 grand a month from your living room. Yeah. Learn it in 4 weeks. It's like, man, do you know how hard it is to be good at sales? Like, it is a difficult skill set. It's a phenomenal skill set, but it takes years to become good at. Like, no one's not many. Then the thing is, it can happen, right? Like, it does happen to some people. They get into sales out of nowhere. Like, we have one guy on our guy, Thales, never done sales before, came in within 3 or 4 months, was crushing it. Yeah. But he's just really good. And he studied really hard, did all the right things, had no bad habits, came in and crushed it.
Yeah.
You know, and then people saw me come into the coaching consulting space, coming to high ticket closing, making 50, 100 grand a month in comms. People saying, well, it came out of nowhere. It's like, man, I was a full-time salesperson for 13 years before I ever did a high ticket sale.
Wow.
You know, like full-time. Like I've been selling fitness for flat out, right? I own gyms. I sold all day, every day. It's my entire job. Was like I was the chief sales officer for a chain of gyms.
So what's your opinion, man? Do you think people are born entrepreneurs, or do you think they can be cultivated into one?
Well, entrepreneurs are different. Anyone can become a salesperson, right? Anyone can sell because it's a process-driven activity. It really is. Like, obviously, everyone starts at different levels of the ladder, and some people's ladder goes higher than others, right? But sales is true process-driven. Entrepreneurship is different, right? So, like, and just because you're a good entrepreneur doesn't mean you should run a business. So I'm very entrepreneurial, but I'm also like, I think one of the things that I've done well is that I've surrounded myself with people who are not yes men, and I know what I'm bad at, and so I'm like a true entrepreneur, but like I'm really good at like not being selfish, not hoarding money, spending money on people, so that I can surround myself with the people who are going to like actually run the business, because I'm not that good at running a business. I'm good at setting up a business. I'm good at making sure it scales and answering the questions. But the people who are really good at running, like, they're not going to be the ones that will scale it. You know, like, they're different personality types. And so you got to kind of fall into your lane, I think, and then surround yourself with the right people. So no, I don't think people can become entrepreneurial. That really is because, like, the risk ratios I think that entrepreneurs are willing to take is very different. Right? Like, I'm willing to do large risks. My risk tolerance is extremely high. Way higher than most. And that has allowed me to grow my business far faster than what most people could, because I was willing to do it with basically making no money in the process.
Right.
Having $2 million come in and having 1,999,000 go out. Right? Like, yeah, buddy. And seeing that as a great thing. Look how much fucking money I spent this month, right? Right? But knowing that having enough business acumen to be able to know that there's a light at the end of that tunnel, it's all intentional, so that when it's intentional, it's fine. When you just wake up and you have no margin, that's a bad thing. But yeah, so I think sales, anyone can be decent at sales or good at sales. Not everyone can be amazing at sales. Entrepreneurship is, I think, a totally different thing. Like, where do you think you sit in that? Like, are you just like that real arty entrepreneur, or do you think you run somewhere else?
Yeah, it's a good question. We were jamming about that a little bit, where there's a lot to entrepreneurship, and I think people really use that word very loosely.
It really is.
Entrepreneur. Right? Oh, I'm an entrepreneur. Well, what's your business? Well, it's me, and I haven't sold anything yet, but there's, I think, a lot of different definitions of it. Am I a traditional kind of like, operator that's good at, setting up different structures and managing multiple teams and, a lot of spreadsheets and a lot of that kind of like hardcore, gritty entrepreneurial stuff? No, that's definitely not the kind of entrepreneur that I am. I definitely feel like I'm more the creator, the visionary dancing monkey kind of.
But that's a good place to be. So, like, the visionary role, it's very coaching and consulting, right? But in reality, it's basically, it's sort of like a chairman, right? So it's the person who is creative, who's responsible for the overall feel and direction of the business, right? Like, the business needs to be a reflection of you. And then from that, like, your mission, your vision, your values need to be handed down. The operators are then responsible and accountable for making sure those things are hit. And so, like, that, I think it's a great spot to be. I think most businesses need one. I think the problem with coaching and consulting is that people take the piss out of that, and they refuse to put operators in. And they think that they can run a business at $500,000 or $600,000 a month.
Right.
And they can just do some wild shit and get away with it. And I don't think that doesn't benefit their staff. If you're running, like we're talking about, guys running a 70% margin, Jesus, mate, what are you not doing? That's terrifying to me.
Well, it's interesting to take a step back, right? Because, like, how many people do you know right, that are in the coaching consulting business, that they've had like 2 other successful exits. You know, maybe they exited, maybe they launched a software company, they exited it. Maybe they had launched, I don't know, a supplement or a retail thing. They exited it, and now they want to launch a coaching or consulting business. I personally, I mean, I'd have to really think about it, but off the top of my head, I don't know any of them.
No.
So my point is, I think most people in this business, this is like kind of
their first business.
It's their first. Yeah. So it's not, I mean, it's more of a fake it until you make it hustle. Like, we're figuring it out. We're still young. Let's see how it goes. And here's the big thing. They've never seen anything close to this much amount of money.
Yeah.
And then that pollutes you a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Where it's like, it's kind of like one of my biggest problems with the medical industry in America is that it's so lucrative. And I just feel like that's wrong. You know, an industry that has to do with your health should not be that lucrative, because money is going to make you do things that you, for example, there's doctors in jail right now because they've told their patients you have cancer and you need chemo, but they don't have cancer because they were making millions off the chemo. It shouldn't be that lucrative. So, and the problem is that you have all these like super young coaches that they're seeing money that they've never seen before, and now they've lost track of the essence of
the youth of the industry is a problem.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so it's interesting. We're here in Sydney. Do you know that, like, I think it was in the year 2000, was the first time ever coaching or consulting was ever mentioned in an educational structure in a university, and it actually happened here in Sydney, in the world. Oh, really? The coaching industry is extremely young. Brand new. Yeah.
Yeah, and the leaders, like a lot of the people have programs, and they're a week ahead of their clients.
Yeah, that's true.
Like that we were talking about before, guys claiming to be 8-figure sales experts, and they can't afford $100 program. Their fucking credit cards bounce. I think that is the problem, is, you know, but it's a reflection of the youth of the industry. Yeah. When you know, I train a lot of salespeople, you know, because we have a lot of salespeople, and you know, one of the things that I tell them is like, guys, like, time takes time. Like, I'm 38 years old. Yeah. Not old, but I'm a fuckload older than those kids, right? Yeah. And they come into me and they're like, I want to make $100,000 a month. I'm like, all right, cool, man. Well, it took me 13, 14 years of full-time selling to hit that marker myself. Yeah. Like, I did that. If you did it in half the time I did, would you be happy? Yeah. They're like, fuck yeah. I was like, sweet, you've been selling for a year, champ. You got 6 months. You know? Like, you'd be fine, man. Like, just give yourself a fucking break. Yeah. And the problem with the industry is there's so much bullshit results out there. You know, people not telling half-truths and screenshots and all this kind of stuff.
Well, here's a big common misconception, right? People are like, say, for example, oh, yeah, I just did an event. Just did a small event, and guess what? I made $100,000, okay? Yeah. All right, cool. Can I see that on paper? Well, yeah, so here's what happened. I made an offer, and it's $1,000 a month, and 10 people signed up. So I collected $10,000 cash at the event, but they all have a contract that it's a year contract. So at the end of the year, I'll have $120,000, right? So okay, cool. Can I see these numbers next month? Okay, next month. Oh yeah, people didn't really like the program, so all of them except for one dropped off. So I actually only made $12,000. Yeah. But but wait a minute, last month, didn't you just tell everyone you made $100,000? Now here's the effed up part about it. Here's the effed up part about it, and I'll include press. So another problem is that right now, for those of you who don't know, you can go to like any website. I'm not going to tell you the name, but you can buy press for $200, literally $200, and you can have this as featured on CNN, Fox News, and it's some backlink Fox News / 8 million digits, and no one can ever find it if they go to the website CNN, Fox News. And what people do is they say, Mark, Gino, whatever. I'm just making up names, as seen on CNN, Fox News, whatever. Right? Here's the problem: your average person, sweet and innocent, have no idea that you just paid 100, 200, and all you need is a pulse.
Hey, you got the 30 under 30 for Forbes? Congrats. What's that, $8,000 now?
Yeah, you're right. Someone tried to sell that to me too. Here's the problem. They're like, oh, okay, well, you must know what you're talking about. Therefore, that builds a trust. Here's the money. But wait a minute. That person's not in reality, that person's not qualified at all.
And the post, like, oh my God, so honored to be featured in Forbes. It's like, man, that's a $5,000 feature. I've sold that offer. Right? Like, oh, it's 2 pages, $10,000. Phenomenal job, man. You paid $10,000. Well done. Yeah, there's a problem. There's a lot of bullshit in the industry. Yeah. But I think, like, you know, to be honest, I fell into that. So, like, but when I was that age, I was a little bit older. I was probably like 26 or 27 at the time. Yeah. But I was newer to business because I just got out of the Army. Yeah. So I was somewhat fresh when it comes to business, right? Yeah. And I remember, like, I owned gyms, and I went off and I joined this business coaching program, and they were like, how much did you sell? And I was like, you know, they're like, oh, we're selling $1,200 packages. Yeah. Oh, hey, everybody, Matt made $80,000 this week. Yeah. You know, because I sold fucking, you know, a bunch of $1,200 packages, but they're paying $50 a week. Yeah. You know what I mean? But then, like, I got caught up in that. And like it actually fucked me up a bit because I started to think I made that much money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like when you start talking in terms of revenue versus cash or like contract value, and you start thinking that way as a sales rep or a business owner, it's really damaging to you because you start living that way.
Yeah.
Right. And like, I remember going through that when I was very new to business, and I was going through I was like the bright-eyed kid in the candy store of business coaching. And I signed up to every fucking business coaching course on the planet. And when I walked away from it, like I said, I'd never sign up to like another one of those coaches again. I was like, no, I'll just sign up to, I'll learn from individuals that I feel are really good at what they do.
Yeah.
Right. Because like at the end of it, it was just it was just bullshit. And there was no one telling me, hey man, like don't think like that.
Yeah.
Like if you sold those people, bank on the money in which you collected and run your business accordingly, and don't start to like live outside your means. Make sure you're doing the right things.
Yeah.
And I think like to me, the biggest problem in coaching and consulting is the fact that like these people are, you know, let's just say they get these guys making $500,000 a month. Like, oh, I'll teach you how to make $500,000 a month. It's like, yeah, but your $500,000 a month business is a fucking shell of a business, which is not sustainable for the individual. It's not sustainable for the people within the business.
Yeah.
And like, it's not an actual business. It's just an entity that makes money.
Yeah.
You know? And so like, you know, people call themselves, like, I'd much prefer that people were like, I'll teach you sales, I'll teach you marketing, and I'll teach you like how to have a really good delivery.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to call myself a business.
Yeah,
coach.
this has already given me a bunch of great marketing ideas, right? Where I'm just like, guys, guess what? This is not a business. This is a one-man show. You're gonna be in content for a couple hours. You got one or two people doing delivery. This is really $100K a month side income. You know what I mean? It's like you anti-business position it. Be like, this isn't a real business. Yeah. This is just a great side.
I mean, and the great thing about coaching and consulting is you really can grow a phenomenally profitable entity quite quickly. If you're charismatic, if you know your stuff, and you know what I mean, and if you have the right hooks, right? The problem is when people then try and translate that without like a foundational underpinning, that becomes problematic.
So you know what I find fascinating to study is, you know, we're talking about like how these things kind of repel people from the industry, right?
Yeah.
But if you take a look at the opposite, like I'm a Muslim, and there's I don't know, over 1 billion Muslims in the world. Mm-hmm. Do you know the country with the most amount of Muslims in it?
I would never clue.
Guess, just for fun.
I mean, I would say China.
Good. I mean, great guess. It's definitely one of the top ones, but it's actually Indonesia. Which is
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, because that's actually a really small country. That's pretty fascinating because China is massive and Indonesia is really small. Went to Bali for our honeymoon, but there's over 200 million Muslims in America, in Indonesia. Started off at 0. So how the hell did that happen? How the hell did like Indonesia, this really small country, get over 200 million Muslims? Well, it turns out that back in the day, a small group of Muslim merchants migrated there. And they just set up shop. And they started doing business and just regular merchant stuff. But they conducted business in such a way, like, you know, like network marketing, all due respect, and all due respect, there's good people in every industry, but you know, it's kind of like, like people are yeah. But it's like they did business in such a respectable way that everyone just kind of fell in love with them and just kind of like converted based off of like them being such like kind of role models in the way they conducted
like the Mormons
business.
Just being so damn nice.
Like the Mormons are so goddamn nice, right?
Yeah, all right, I'll join you. Why not?
So it's like I like to study that, and I have, and I've actually been working on for a couple of years. I'm gonna my goal is to write a book on that because I've been studying the way that, you know, like a pure and honest and like, so like on podcasts like this, people ask me like, man, what do you think the best book out there is on business? And you know what I always say, dude, any one of the holy books. Go read the Bible, the Quran, the Torah. Like, dude, like that tells you really how to do like fun. Like, it's not gonna tell you to run a TikTok ad, but it's gonna tell you how to do like the fundamental, how to treat people right. Yeah. And actually, all those 3 books talk about writing contracts too, like how the importance of writing a business contract and stuff like that. But it's like, I think it'd be cool for people to go back to the purity of business. And like you said, man, we're in this like startup stage where people just don't know what the hell they're doing. The blind leading the blind. But it'd be cool for people to like take a step back and study the way the business was done in the pure way. Because at the end of the day, man, it's, you know, and from a religious point of view, it's considered a holy thing. Businessmen, merchants are considered a holy thing, that they do a great service to humanity. And it's a big responsibility. You know, we shouldn't be taking advantage of people. You know, businessmen are actually here to serve. we're here to serve the community and to, uplift the quality of mankind.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be cool for more people to see it through that instead of a cash grab.
All right. So run me through the purpose of your business. You're in coaching consulting.
Yeah.
I know you donate a ton of money to charity and all that kind of stuff.
Well, we try, we're blessed to say last year we built 8 schools. We've built countless water wells, given the gift of vision to a lot of blind people by paying for their surgery, sponsored a lot of orphans. The only reason I say that, by the way, is to, some people don't like that. Like, you're not supposed to talk about like your charity work. And I respect that. But the only reason I mention is because I keep getting people like approaching me like, dude, thank you so much for sharing that. It really inspired me. I sponsored an orphan. So that's the only reason I share it, is to like inspire other people to do that. Because I'll tell you something, man, like, I've been dirt poor. I used to live in an electrical closet. On a bunk bed, like an actual electrical closet, like
it's poor.
In a bunk bed, and then I've been rich. I was happy both times, but the reason I was happy is because I've always, my foundation's always been giving. Because you see all these people in Hollywood and stuff, man. My wife, we were just looking at it yesterday just for fun. She was looking at Eddie Murphy's worth $600 million. This, we were looking up all these. She was looking up all these actors for fun, hundreds of millions, but they're like miserable, depressed, divorced, alcoholics. It's like the foundation's been giving. So we have a coaching business where we teach entrepreneurs how to make more, to give more to their families, communities, and favorite charities, hence making the world a better place. So
it's a very unique value proposition.
Yeah.
Usually it's to make more, to give more back to me. Right? Right? Like that's the standard, coaching funnel.
It's cool. Look, like I tell you what, I had I bought a Bentley. It's fun. A lot of fun. Guess what?
Which one?
Continental GT.
Yeah, nice one.
Yeah. Fucking beautiful car. I love it. Oh. Yeah. Guess what?
What?
Completely irresponsible. Beat the shit out of it. Treated it like a rental. Guess what? Engine. Stupid. Just pure stupidity on my part. But guess what? It was a lot of fun. Now I don't have it anymore. Guess what? Life's still cool.
Do you think you're an extremist?
As far as
like just in life in general. Like I know I am, right? Like I've never been the same weight for longer than a week.
Really? What do you mean?
I'm either going up or down, brother.
Oh,
right. So, like for me, you can probably tell on the podcast. People are like, oh, that makes sense, right? Like I'm an extremist. Like I don't do anything in halves. I will either do everything or absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I like to go all in for sure. Yeah, I like to go all in.
I think we were talking about crypto.
Oh yeah, I
went
lost
hard
my
to
ass
pay too.
Yeah. I mean, I lost multiple six figures, but more so than the multiple six figures was all the time I lost. Yeah.
Yeah. It took me a long time to realize some of the Ponzi schemes. I was very enamored with, some of the yield farming and some of the things out there, and I was like, oh, this is great. And it sort of I got swept up, and not swept up because it didn't really distract me that much, but I was definitely into it.
Well, you're an army guy, man. You're a lot more disciplined. You know what I mean? You got that.
In some ways, I'm very disciplined. Like when it comes to work, man, like all that work, nearly anybody.
Yeah.
Right. Like but it's not work. It's why I don't really believe in burnout, because you don't burn out if you love what you do.
No.
Like you can physically burn out. Like I used to be on sales calls. Because like when I had a goal of making 100K a month, I was like, I'm gonna make 100K a month as a sales rep.
Yeah.
Like, and the reason why I did it, to be perfectly transparent, is because my 2 main competitors could not say the same thing. Right. So like Jeremy was a $3 million a year earner as a sales rep, commission only. Right.
He made $3 million
a year.
He put in his pocket $3 million from commissions from sales.
Like 20 years in a row.
What?
Yeah, he's like one of the top highest earning sales reps in U.S. history.
I didn't even know a salesman could make that much.
Yeah, he was averaging about $250,000 to $300,000 a month in personal income.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant $3 million a month.
Oh no, it's in personal. Yes, $3 million a year.
Oh, okay.
It's a lot of fucking money to put in your pocket.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I knew that most of my competitors had never really sold much more than about $25,000 to $30,000 a month in commission.
Mm-hmm.
Guys who were placing sales reps or guys who were sales agencies and stuff like that. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna fucking do 100K a month.
Yeah.
It nearly killed me because I wasn't selling things expensive enough.
Yeah.
Right. But like I did it, and I started work at 2 a.m. Every day.
It's a good time, actually. What time did you go to bed?
Oh, like 11.
What?
Yeah.
You have 3 hours of sleep a day?
Yeah, 3 to 4. Yeah.
Huh.
So I did that, but I did that for like months.
Huh. I didn't know you could do that.
Oh, well, I would have like an hour and a half nap in the middle of the day.
Okay.
Right. And then I would do, like, I'm pretty good on no sleep, like special operations. I don't need that much sleep.
Okay.
Right. Like I'm pretty happy on 6 hours a day. Like my body functions fairly well on that for a pretty long amount of time. I've got lots of practice.
Okay.
You know, as part of demarcation, which is your like final test to be allowed to go into special forces, you have to do 4 days no food or sleep.
Oh wow.
Right, and like you have to.
Wow.
And you're assessed the entire time. They give you mental problems. They give you physical things to do. Like, and you can't crack. And if you do, you're out.
Wow.
Right, so it's 96 hours, no food, no sleep.
Wow. I went 1 day without food. I almost threw up.
Yeah. So I function well on no sleep, right? I would get up at 2, usually start work at 2:30, 3 o'clock. And then I would have like an hour and a half nap in the middle of the day. Longer if I could, but then kind of go back, finish sales calls at like 10:30, go to bed, wake up at 2. You know what I mean? So like it was full on. But that's what I had to do because I was in Australia to have the time in the US. So I had a US account and an Australian account.
Yeah.
So I was working 2 full-time jobs.
Right.
But I did it 2 months in a row. Right?
Yeah. Wow.
But I was like on sales calls towards the end of it, I would turn my Zoom off. I would turn the audio and video off, throw up into a bucket, and then turn it back on and then keep talking.
Nice.
Because like I was just so physically burnt out.
Yeah.
From not sleeping, from just grinding. I put on weight. Like I was,
wow.
It was not great. Like I wouldn't do it again.
Yeah.
But I needed to prove a point. Right. So I was like, I had it in my head, like I must do this.
Yeah.
Right.
Jeez.
I told my wife what was happening. I told my business partner what was happening. Like I cleared the decks, planned it out.
Yeah.
I was like, but like now I've got the proof that I did that.
Yeah.
And like, good luck doing it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So like I did it for a reason. It's something that I can hang my hat on that not many people can.
Yeah. I forgot, man. You have kids or no?
Yeah, I got 2 kids.
Yeah. How old are they?
3 and 6.
Okay, so we got a similar story. So let me ask you something, man, because you're a disciplined guy and you're like, you know, special ops and all this stuff. How do you? I'll tell you a problem I have. Sometimes I find I'm too nice. I'll give you an example. Like
I don't have that problem.
well, I'll give you an example, and maybe nice is the wrong word. You tell me. I'll tell you the situation. You tell me what the problem is, okay? I'm getting ready to go work. I'm going to work. Oh, fuck. My wife's babysitter called out for the day. My wife's now with 3 my kids are maniacs. They're my best friends, but they're absolutely
together.
maniacs.
Horrendous.
They're just completely
Apart.
lunatics.
Great. Together. Horrendous.
Fact. So I'm looking at my wife's face. I can already tell she's like, oh, God, this is going to be a nightmare. And I'm like, fuck it. I'm not going to go to work. I'm going to help you out today. Stuff like that, I'm just giving you an example, happens to me a good amount. And like my father-in-law, opposite. We were getting married. We're having a marriage dinner. He's like, fuck it, 8 o'clock, fuck it, peace, I'm out. Everyone's partying. He goes to bed 8 o'clock at night, rain, shine, doesn't. Your daughter's getting married. Peace, I'm out. 8 o'clock upstairs. I mean, hardcore discipline. 8 o'clock bed, 4 o'clock, boom, to the warehouse to work. He's got some textile company, you know, dyeing, clothing, whatever. For me, it's God first, family second, business third. Mm-hmm. So it's like anytime there's like a family issue or like whatever, I find that I put my business kind of in the back. Like, all right, cool. Let me go handle this. Like what?
Well, I think like, you know, to be honest, you just have to have a setup that allows for that. Right. And as the visionary of a company, doesn't matter. Right. As long as you're supplying what you require. So I'm probably in between. Right. Like my wife today. But I'm allowed that because I have a great team of people. I have a very big team, 150 people.
Yeah. Wow.
You know, so like this morning I had a training that had to be on at 8 o'clock in the morning. My wife woke up. She's really sick. I said, hey, baby, I'll do the school run this morning. Right. I called up Rhodes, sorry. And I said, hey, brother, my wife's sick. I need you to cover the training. He goes, no problem, dude. Right. So like, that's fine. Now, if she comes to me and says, hey, like I have these appointments at these times, I'll go, call Emily, who's my assistant.
Yeah.
I go, if she can move this stuff, I'll do it. But like we have the agreement, like, hey, listen, if there's something that comes up that's urgent, I'll drop everything, right? Yeah. But I was like, you know, me and my wife have a very open conversation about that. She's a stay-at-home mom, right? She gave up her business because we don't need the money, and it's just, I think, better for the kids if she's a stay-at-home mom, right? And so we have that agreement. My work has to be a priority for us because it's how we earn our living, right? So like that's kind of the relationship. We have very traditional roles in that way. So like I'm sort of in the middle. Now when it comes to being like nice and kind, I think in that situation, I think you're just being a fucking good dad and husband. Do you know what I mean? But what you need to do is surround yourself with the right team of people to allow that to not be a big deal.
Well, like last night was a perfect example. like I said, I love playing with my kids. Honestly, one of the things I really just don't enjoy doing is putting them to bed because
it's a fucking nightmare.
And it drives me nuts to like lay there and look at the sky and like wait for them to fall asleep. Like it drives me nuts. So I just don't like the process at all. So I told my wife last night, listen, I haven't been able to work much lately because of, we're traveling. Let me, put the kids to bed. Let me work a little. She's like, yeah, totally cool. And then again, I saw it. I saw the 3 kids ready to like attack her like a bunch of wild great white sharks. I'm like, oh, fuck. Yeah. I ended up helping and putting them to sleep. But then I missed out on some cool, work that I could have done.
But I think like that goes back to what you said before when we were talking is like, at the moment, there's not a lot of like pure like, okay, where am I going? You know what I mean? You've been running the business for a while. It's doing well, supplying you with a great lifestyle. And now you're like, hey, I kind of want to ramp it up and scale it up. And that's why you're in here, right? Yeah. So it's like, okay, well, now we got to do the work now to set the goals. And it's like, for me, I can't run aimlessly. Like I'm kind of like I think entrepreneurs without a clear goal are a finless bottle rocket. A lot of activity, no direction. You put the fins on it, it fucking goes, right? And so that's where like clear and concise planning. It's like, okay, I have this target to hit. Yeah. Like Marco, for example, is a fucking animal of a business operator. Animal, bro. If you give him a number, if you told him, if you go, okay, man, we're going to put Marco in your business, he needs to make $300K next month, that's his KPI, and you said it that way, he would do it. And there is no amount of time, effort, energy, people, things that he wouldn't do to hit that number. And if he didn't hit it, he would fucking lose his shit. Right?
That sounds like a good guy to have on the team.
Yeah. He's so focused in that way that it's sort of amazing, right? So I think like a lot of that comes from like, hey, let's set some really clear directions. Let's set some really clear goals. Like I'm really goal focused. Like me and my wife, we have our personal financial goals. We have our business financial goals. We have goals for the kids. It's like, hey, I want my kids to be able to do this. I want my kids to be able to do this. I want to be able to provide these things. And that allows me to like, I'm just a pent up, like I have to move forward. And so like, and I have itchy feet. I don't know if you've ever heard that expression before. Yeah. So like, if I don't have a direction to walk, I'm very like, I'm very aimless.
That's a very good point, man. Because like, I remember a couple of years ago, the first time it's ever happened to me in my life, I couldn't get out of bed in the morning. I was like, oh shit. Like you've heard the stories like, oh, I'm depressed. I can't get out of bed. Yeah. First time it ever happened to me, I can't get out of bed. I'm like, I don't understand what's happening. Like I physically couldn't get out. I'm like, I don't want to get out of bed. It's like, I've never experienced that. And I just realized somehow, like, wait a minute, I know why this is happening. I had goals. I wanted to do a TEDx talk. I wanted to get like a 2 Comma Club award, which is like $1 million in the funnel. I wanted to have a #1 international best-selling book. I wanted to give like talks on international stages, blah, 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 blah. And I realized that like I hit all those goals. And so like my body, it was as if it's like, what do you want me to get up for you? I did everything you told me you wanted to do. It's like, I don't even know what to do. So why am I going to get up?
It's really common, man. That's why they say when you retire, you expire, right?
Yeah. Or if your lover dies, a lot of times you die a couple of days later.
Yeah. So like, I think a lot of that, like I was talking to my wife, because we just restructured our whole business. Not that we're going to sell it or anything like that, but like I want to have an entity that is sellable because like that's where the value comes. That's where long-term wealth comes from, right? Having entities of value. So I have no plan to sell this business, but I wanted to be in a position to where if somebody offered me $1 billion, I would consider it. You know what I mean?
Why not?
Yeah. But I was talking to my wife.
Buy some Bitcoin.
And I was like, no one can lose money like crypto. So yeah. But I was like, I wonder what I would do if I did. And she was like, oh, you couldn't sell the business. She's like, you'd be a fucking nightmare. And I was like, yeah, you're right. I was like, I don't know what I would do because like I have to have like a purpose outside of, like I've got my purpose with my family and all that kind of stuff, but like I have to have something else. Yeah. Like I remember, and I had a similar experience to you, I think, when you went into entrepreneurship for the first time, you were like, oh, this is shit. Yeah. Right? When I didn't enjoy being a sniper. That's what I did. Right? I didn't really like the job. I appreciated the job and like the art of it and the science of it. But like when I got there, I didn't really enjoy it that much. But I had built up like everything that I went in wanting to be it and I did everything to do it. I kind of lost interest partway through because I was really enjoying like kicking doors in and kind of being that guy. Yeah. And then I was shooting on the range one day and the head of snipers was like, hey man, it's pretty good shooting. Yeah. I was like, thanks dude. He goes, what's your name? I was like, oh man. He's like, cool. Anyway, next day they go, "Hey Matt," I was like, "What?" They go, "You're on sniper course." Right? I was a good shot.
No.
And so then I went on sniper course, did the whole thing, became a sniper, and I was like, "Okay, cool." So I kind of achieved all the dream. Then when I got there, I was like, I don't really like this. Like I like kicking doors in. I like being active. I like kind of doing stuff. Sitting in a hide for 4 days at a time.
Jeez. Sometimes you have to wait for 4 days.
Oh, dude. Weeks.
And what do you do?
Shit into a bag. Have a terrible time of it.
And you just sit there.
Oh, it's fucking miserable, bro. Like doing old school sniper work is fucking miserable. Doing some of the new school stuff in urban environments, that's fine. It's fun. You're in hotels and setting up and doing all the things. But like counterterrorism stuff is fine. But like old school sniping in Afghanistan in the middle of winter in a fucking hide, surrounded by bad guys in fucking -2 is no bueno. Right?
Shit.
Right? So yeah, so so like I kind of had that like, oh, this is a bit shit.
Why you got to go in a bag though?
Shit in a bag, so you don't leave any sign behind.
What do you do with the bag?
Carry it with you till you get back, and then
in your backpack.
Yeah.
You got a backpack full of shit in -2 degrees.
Yeah, not in all environments, just in some environments where like you're trying to sneak in and out. No one knows you were there or are there.
Damn.
We had to practice that too. It's fucking training. You carry your shit. It's fucking horrible, man. You got to hold the bag for somebody
This is a great training for like business. It's like if you can handle that, like what can't you handle?
Yeah, I literally did a video yesterday because I saw some video of some dude online going like, when you're doing sales, you're going into battle. I was like, no, you're fucking not. I was like, brother, it's not like business is it's difficult, not hard. Right? So like there's a big difference. Like playing pool is difficult. It's not hard. Right? It's not physically demanding. It's not mentally demanding.
Yeah.
So like I think a lot of people put too much weight on kind of some of the things they have to do to be good at business, and they rely. Like, not that I don't believe in mindset at all. Like, because obviously, like I've seen depression. Yeah, it sucks, bro.
Yeah, you were depressed?
No, I've never had it, but I've seen it. Right, and like I've seen people be diagnosed with mild depression who are like shells of a human. Like moderate depression is you can't physically move. Extreme depression is you're about to kill yourself. Right?
Wow, I didn't
like
know
it's hectic, man. Like actual depression is really terrible.
Yeah.
So like any elements of that, like I understand that. People who are told their whole life that people with money are assholes are going to figure out a way to fuck up money. So, but I think that a lot of people don't like my fallback position is always on skill and process, right? So,
sorry, man, I'm just tripping on something you said. It seems like you know a lot. It seems like you know a lot about depression. What's like a sign of what'd you say, extreme? What was it? It was mild, medium, moderate, and what was it?
I don't know I know mild and moderate and probably severe.
Yeah,
I think,
severe. What's the sign of that?
Oh, dude, it's horrendous. Like people who like can't get out of bed like for days at a time and like don't talk and won't do anything. That's like moderate depression.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Severe depression is like you are trying actively to kill yourself every day.
Oh, my God.
Like it's a horrendous. You need to be heavily medicated. You need to be under watch at all times. Like it's a really serious thing. I've seen lots of friends go through really, really difficult times in the military because they have severe PTSD. Guys who have been asked to do things they, reflectively didn't agree with. And that's really difficult for a lot of people to deal with. So, like, I understand all that. But in terms of, like, the doing of things, I think, for me, I've always falled back on process, And, like, to be perfectly frank, like, I struggle to understand some of it because I am technically a functioning sociopath. Right? So you've got functioning and non-functioning.
Okay.
A non-functioning. A non-functioning is like a serial killer.
Okay.
Right? A functioning is someone who has the ability to turn it on and off.
Okay.
Right?
That's interesting.
So I am every single person in the Australian Special Forces is a functioning sociopath.
Huh.
It is a requirement to do. It is you have to tick that box in your psychiatric testing in order to be approved.
Wow.
They don't tell you that. I found that out subsequently through talking to some people. So like I was born with the ability to become amoral. Like I can go like that. I don't really have it anymore.
Meaning like you can flip a switch to become emotionless.
Yeah, completely.
Because you have to snipe people.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have
But I was born. I could do that as a kid.
Really?
Like that. I do it in arguments every now and then. If I get in an argument, my wife's like,
"Oh
fuck!" I just go completely dead inside.
Really?
There's nothing anyone can say that will upset me.
That's pretty fascinating.
It's completely neutral. Like I'm neutral to all things. It's a very strange. It doesn't happen very often anymore. As I've had children, it is incredibly softened.
No.
right?
Sure.
And as I've like my parents are incredibly good people, and as I've got more and more like employees and staff and people under me, like I've become far more compassionate. Me, like 10, 15 years ago, I was a kind of a man.
Yeah.
Right? Like all of us were. Like Pat, one of my best mates who's using the podcast with me.
Yeah.
You know, similar personality typing, and you know, like we were just different people.
Yeah.
When we were in our 20s and we were actually shooting people for a living. Like,
right.
isn't you're a different person,
right?
You know, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, like, you know, as you grow up, especially when you have kids, like when you have kids, everything changes.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, right? People tell you, oh, when you have kids, everything changes. And you're like, yeah. And then you have kids, you're like, oh shit, everything changed. Like your whole personality, your whole caring about everything, like, you know.
It's so true. It's like, you know, I know everyone online's like, oh, you know, I made $1 million today. Well, the truth is, like, everybody has slow months, right? And everybody has slow days and this and that. So I have slow days just like everybody else. But I have a son who's 8 months old. And honestly, when he smiles at me, I don't care if I have like a negative 10,000. Like, it doesn't matter at all. Like, nothing matters. It totally just melts you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's a really beautiful thing.
Yeah. But I think, like, for me, when I was really broke probably 4 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like, we were really struggling. Because Sydney's a very expensive city, as you probably know.
Yeah, shit. You spend $180 on gas.
Yeah.
To fill up the car.
Super expensive, you know.
I don't know how people live here. Like, I don't know how people smoke here. You know, I don't smoke, but a pack of smoke's like $50 over here.
Yeah, if you don't make $200,000 a year.
Okay, that makes sense.
As a household, city's tough.
Shit, it's
right?
expensive here.
Really tough.
Yeah.
So, like, when I was running the gyms, I was only making about $130. Right? It sounds like a good wage. Yeah. It was literally enough to pay our bills without paying tax.
Yeah.
Because we had to live in a particular area because I had to get to work. So I could have moved really far out.
Yeah.
But that would have meant I had these I would have spent no time with my kids.
Yeah.
So we were like, I think at one stage we had $6,000 a month worth of rent, just rent. I had $4,000 in the bank.
Yeah.
I had a 3-year-old or 2-year-old and a pregnant wife.
Yeah.
At that, we had to borrow the money from my father-in-law to get the Down syndrome test for my daughter, who's now 3. Right.
Mm.
And so, like, it wasn't that long ago that we were we used to argue over like $4 T-shirts and stuff.
Wow.
Like
4 years ago.
Yeah.
You made a lot of progress.
Less. 3.
Wow, you made a lot of progress in 3 years, man.
Yeah. So I always had businesses where I was not in control. I was like an owner, but like a minority owner.
Yeah.
Or like an even owner where I didn't have the final say. And like it never, like I had a lot of ideas, but I didn't have anyone who could who would back me to do them, or people who would listen to me, or I was part of a larger conglomerate and stuff like that. So when I literally walked away from those gyms, like we had 18 of them, and I just went, I'm out. Goodbye.
See ya.
Like that. I managed
to
turn the switch. Well, I had to, man. Like I was fat. I was unhappy. I was working.
Fat working at the gym.
Oh, well, I was just doing sales all day.
Yeah.
And I was so unhappy doing what I was doing because I was not being listened to. They weren't running the gyms in the way I wanted them to run. Yeah. You know what I mean? I didn't have enough say in what was going on. I was doing sales 8 to 9 hours a day, every day, just calling leads nonstop. Yeah. Getting really good at sales, right? And then, like, I just wasn't making enough money, and it was just, like, I was getting fucking over it, right? And then I left the business, and then I came back to my previous business, who I had gone over here as a partnership. So it was all planned. And I got back to this business. He goes, I don't need you anymore, man. Beat it, or I'm going to fire everybody. legit. And I was like, fuck, man, like I can't have everyone get fired, like that's bullshit. So negotiated a piddly little exit, which is basically a 12-month salary, right? I think it was $60,000 over 12 months,
which isn't going to do anything in Sydney anyway.
No, so I had to move to Perth.
Oh wow, that's the other side.
Yeah,
it's like a farmland, no?
No, it's a major city, but it's cheap.
Oh, okay.
Right, like I bought a house for $700,000. You know what I mean? Like a big giant house, which is really cheap over, in Australia. That's cheap. It's not expensive. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because I had managed to save a little bit of money before that. So like I had that, I got that out of what I had it in, put down like a 10% deposit. Yeah. And then from there, like that $60K was basically enough for me to pay my bills.
Wow.
Right. So that's when I started Sales Sniper. And that's when I started doing online selling. My first week of high ticket coaching, I made $12,000.
Your first week, you made $12,000.
Yeah, of high ticket sales. And that's kind of when I changed the whole business model, because originally Sales Sniper was Fitness Sales Sniper, and I was doing all fitness sales, and that was a rough gig, but it was good. It got me in good sales shape, as it were. And then we kind of grew.
How long did you do your own sales until you stopped doing sales?
I stopped doing like full-time selling in December of 2020.
Damn. You were doing full time up until December 2020? So wait, so January 2021, you had a team, you were not doing any more sales.
I was doing, the only sales I was doing was selling people into Sales Sniper.
Right.
Before that, I was like, this was the big handoff for me, right? So I'd built a team.
Yeah.
We were making good money, but I, as a sales rep, was responsible for 50% of the income because I was a very high producing rep. I was not taking any of that money.
Yeah.
So like that 100K a month in commission that I was earning, I took 0.
Wow. You put it all back in the
all
company.
back in the business because I had that 60K a year, right? That paid my bills.
Wow.
It wasn't until March of 2021 that I took a salary.
Wow.
Right?
It's quite a story, man. You've done quite a lot in the past 18 months or whatever.
Yeah. We've gone from 20K a month to 3 million a month.
Jeez.
In under 3 years.
I mean, you don't hear that every day, right? I mean, that's quite unusual. If I had to force you right now, like without thinking, to tell me, just like right now without thinking, you've gone from 20K a month to 3 million a month in a very short amount of time. Without thinking, what's like one word that's the reason why that happened?
People.
Boom.
Yeah, straight up people. Like I think I'm a fairly generous person. Like I don't own the majority share of the business. Like I am the majority stakeholder. But I have an employee share option program, which costs a lot of money to set up to do it properly, where there's actually share options with vesting periods and it's done in the correct way. I reckon that probably cost me $200,000 in legal fees and accounting fees to set up. Right. So
most people in this industry haven't spent $2 on accounting fees or anything, or like set up with legal fees or stuff like that. You know what I mean?
So, but I have a team that will never leave. Right. One, because I've got them in golden handcuffs. Right. So like if you leave and your shares haven't vested, you lose them. And the share price is here and it will be here one day. So you will have wealth in which you can borrow against, or you could sell back to us if you wanted to in a few years' time, whatever, right? So like this is actual wealth creation for my key staff. Like we have an employee share option program. And then I've given people equity along the way as well. And so like, because I would rather be a smaller stakeholder, you know, like, but Bezos only owns like, I think he owns like 14% of Amazon at this point. You know, like if he's willing to do that,
right?
And I want to get to a $1 billion business, it's ultimately what I want. Like I believe we can get it to $100 million a year within the next 3 years. Yeah,
you know, it's funny. We have in our family we have an e-com company. It does well. It did like 50 million last year, and my brother did the same thing. He gave a high percentage to the CEO, and we didn't know because it's not really our expertise, our world. Like we were all like, dude, what the hell are you doing, bro? Why are you doing this?
If they're really good, you just gotta we gotta keep this guy.
Yeah, and we're like, what the hell are you doing, bro? But honestly, if it wasn't for that CEO, the company wouldn't be anywhere near 50 million. Yeah, that guy kicks ass, and he's worth it. But it's like you got to know to do that. Most people are like, no, what? No, that's because they don't know.
But it's youth and ego, right? Like I think I am an arrogant person. Like I would say, like that's probably a flaw of mine, but I don't have an ego, right? So I would say
that again.
I have a level of arrogance,
okay,
but I do not have an ego.
I need to like stew on that. Can you explain that further?
Like I don't care what people think about me.
Okay,
and that only
is that arrogance?
No. Is in like, but that's the ego. I don't have one anymore. Like I don't care how I'm perceived.
Who do you? Well, no, but is that entirely true? Though? Meaning, not that you're lying, but I mean, like
by the people. So by the people who are outside,
right. Like, but you care like what, like your wife thinks about you, or like what God thinks about you. Yeah, like,
but like I'm extremely confident. I'm a very good person.
But then I'm just trying to figure like how is that ego or arrogance?
I would think like my personality. If you saw my content, you'd probably go, "Oh, that guy."
You're like a little cocky, maybe.
Yeah, like I would say I would say high on the cocky scale. You know what I mean? I'd say you could say arrogance for cocky. I would say probably. So I'm very cocky, right? I always have been as a kid, always, right?
Cocky meaning like, hey, we went from 20K to like 3 million.
Cocky is in like I'm the best.
But I mean, like,
I'm the best at what I do.
But I mean, is that really cocky though? If you are,
I would say a lot of people would describe me as cocky. My wife does.
okay.
Yeah, just hang out with me.
Well, hey, if she says it, it's good enough. You know?
Like when I talk to people in a room, I'm not afraid to kind of dictate what happens.
All right.
Right?
Okay.
Like I'll sit at the head of the table.
Okay, gotcha.
Right? I'll sit down and go, this feels right.
Yeah. Okay, I got
right?
you.
So,
right.
but like I remember, like it wasn't like I've known for a while that I've reached a level of like surety in myself where I was like, oh, sweet, like I'm cool if people don't like me. It happened about a year ago, I would say. And I had a good test of that because a setter, God bless them, went rogue in my account, trying to do the right thing, went into a bunch of Facebook groups and like tried to friend a bunch of coaches. Listen, I didn't say yes. We didn't know they did it. They were just trying to be proactive.
Yeah.
Young people do silly things when they're trying to make a name for themselves.
Yeah.
They just did it in my profile.
Right.
Right? And a big coach kind of like screenshotted it and called me out in their group. Right?
Oh, wow.
It's Taki.
Yeah, he's
right?
a cool, really cool guy.
Yeah, I've never met him, but he's just down the road.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I've seen him do that sort of stuff. Yeah,
and he sent me a message like, hey, just so you know. And I was like, oh, yeah, cool, man. Do your thing. Right? I just said, yeah, perfectly reasonable, man. Like, setter went rogue, but I get it. Do your thing, brother.
Yeah, but you explained it, yeah.
Yeah, but I just went, yeah, that's cool. Like, do your thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and then he did it in the group, and all these people commented.
Yeah.
Most people commented, hey, you know that wasn't him, right?
Yeah.
Right? Because I got a pretty good name in the industry.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, yeah, sweet. Like,
Yeah.
and like Marco was freaking out about it. I was like, oh, dude, don't worry about it. Like honestly, man, like, it's fine.
It doesn't matter.
My real problem with it was the messages were crap.
It's like, how dare you think that's me? How dare you think such terrible messaging?
I ended up going down a rabbit hole, and we redid the entire DM setting process.
That's
for the whole
so
business.
funny.
Because the quality just wasn't there. So, but I was like, genuinely like, oh yeah, that's cool, man. Like, do your thing, brother. Like, it's totally fine.
Yeah.
Like, if you got to name and shame me, like, that's your thing, bro. Like, I'm more than happy for you to do that because like I'm just confident in who I am as a person. I know I provide a great service for my clients. We really put a lot of effort into that. Because we really are partners with our clients. We can't make money unless they make money. It's a mutually beneficial experience for everybody. So I feel like I have a really deep-seated need to provide for my sales reps. And we do a ton of training. And I'm very passionate about training these young people to be successful. And, you know, like one of our guys was in a really bad situation. So we bought him a car and I paid for him to move states. And, you know, we helped him out with his rental bonds and all that kind of stuff. Like, I'm more than happy to help people who are putting in the work and putting in the effort to better themselves. Like, I think that's a really positive thing. And so, like, if a couple people don't like me, that's cool, man. Like, because there's plenty of people that do. So,
can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
About what fuels you? Because I'll tell you some things that have happened to me in my business. When we first I've helped a lot of people generate 7 figures, right? When we first helped somebody hit 7 figures, I was bouncing off the walls. I call in my mom. Ma, you're not going to believe this. We helped this guy hit 7 figures. Oh, my God, I don't believe that. No. Gave him a trophy, going freaking nuts. I had the trophy. And I'm doing like a whole Facebook Live trophy unveiling. Going ape shit nuts. Like top of the world. Okay. Helped another dude hit 7 figures. Same thing. Oh, my God, mom, you're not going to believe this. We helped somebody else hit 7 figures. Trophy. But then it happened again and again. And again, and again, and eventually I had a closet full of trophy boxes.
You're like, hey, cool, man. Well done.
Yeah.
High five. Bye.
Yeah. And it's just like, it became kind of numbing. And unfortunately, so it's like, I guess my question to you is like, what really pushes you to keep going? Like, what really motivates you?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think I really like when sales reps do really well. We have a lot of them, right?
So that never gets numbing to you. Like I'm sure, like I've had people cry to me, dude, you helped me buy my first house, you helped me build my first car, buy my first car, like all this stuff, and it's awesome. But then after I keep hearing it,
yeah, but
like
they're my guys. Like, they're my staff.
Yeah, so like, it doesn't get numbing for you.
The success of an account is, I made a business owner $500,000 that week. Yeah. Fantastic. Like, well done. High five, dude. I really don't care. Okay? Right? That means that my guys made a ton of money, which is fucking awesome. Because, like, I get messages like one of our sales managers calls me up and he's like, I just bought my family their dream home.
Yeah.
Like, fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I hope I can come see it next year. You know what I mean? So, like, but those are my guys.
So that's what keeps you going.
I think so, yeah. Like, I like, and that's why, you know, like, my board members, like, you're too generous. with your share options or this or this or this or bonuses. Like we did a bonus the other day of like 160,000 spread between the head shed. I took none.
You had some Rolex party or something, right?
So my staff gave me this.
Nice, that's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a Sky Dweller. It's like
Yeah,
a
it's really
$50,000 watch.
Hey, nice staff.
Yeah, and they got together and they bought that for me.
That's
You know,
very telling.
they presented it on the Christmas party, which was on a boat.
Hey,
I like having Christmas parties on boats.
yeah.
And like, you know, like I like because I employ my best friends, I employ my parents, I employ one of my aunties, I employ my cousin's wife, my dad.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of this thing has to keep going.
It's a family operation. It's become a bit of a family operation. Basically.
Yeah, for sure. And so like I have a
How is that compared to when you were doing business without them?
oh shit, bro, it's so much better. Like, and all my friends are ex special operations, so I know they work.
Yeah.
Right, and like my family's not going to fuck around.
Yeah.
Like there are some people I wouldn't hire.
You
know what I mean? There's some
right?
fucking cousins. I'm like, you're right, bro.
You're good.
But like, you know, my dad is the staff guidance counselor. He keeps everyone on track. He kept me on track. I was a highly motivated, rapscallion of a young man, right? So he kept me on track. So like a lot of the people that come in are, I guess, probably more broken versions of me. I had a great father, great family, great upbringing.
Yeah.
But I had a personality that if that wasn't there, I would have been fucking rogue.
Yeah.
Right? But they say the difference between a bikie and a special operations guy is just good parents.
Wow.
You know? Or just a zig or a zag. That's it,
Yeah.
right? Same person,
Yeah.
violent, like solves things with violence.
Yeah.
You know? You just do it for the government or you do it for money. Right? You know? Which is why a lot of guys go into that or they go into stuff like that.
Wow.
Whereas I kind of like let a lot of that stuff go. You know, I was like wash my hands with violence when I was a younger man.
the importance of being like a good parent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like literally change the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's really beautiful.
Yeah. That seems like a good place to stop.
Yeah, man, it is a very poignant and beautiful thing.
Yeah, it is.
I don't want to say I'm proud of you because I have nothing to do with any of this stuff, but I mean, I'm impressed. I mean, you run things the right way. You got your family involved. You're not greedy. I am impressed by you. I am honored to be here.
Well,
and
I appreciate that. I think that
really
building
enjoyed
8
it.
schools is a pretty big deal.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah.
that's definitely not. Money is great, but education is more important. So if you guys like that content, make sure you like, subscribe to the notification bell. We will tag all of Akbar's socials down below.
Thanks, man.
And we'll send you this video and put it out to where you want. All right, peace, guys. Bye.
Thanks.
Put that coffee down. Coffee's for closers only.